article. New WWE writer recalls not needing to know about wrestling. Let me start with this. When you bring people from different facets of Hollywood into the wrestling business who never watch wrestling, or, yeah, I used to watch Hulk Hogan with my dad, but I really don't care for it. But yeah, I'll take the job making $80K a year. When you get these people that come into the wrestling business, they start integrating things into wrestling that do not make sense and insults the viewers. Prime example, Damian Priest versus The Miz in a zombie lumberjack match, and you've got zombies at ringside doing like the, ooh. We can clearly see that these are NXT stars and developmental talent that we know from the independent circuit. And they're going, ooh. And it just makes the business look completely fake. On the contrary, I did like that. I loved it in WCW when RoboCop came out to the ring and freed Sting from the cage. I did like it when Chucky appeared on WCW Nitro. And I loved the WCW Halloween Havoc entranceways. So when I seen that, a little part of me in my heart did kind of go, the kid in me kind of likes the nostalgia and I like the eerie stuff. But at the same time, how far are we going to push the envelope for entertainment? I get it. WWE's PG is marketed to kids. But if you keep writing this stuff and, hey, let's have Pee-wee's Playhouse on Raw and Randy Orton's going to fight Bray Wyatt in Pee-wee's Playhouse. So I can't even think of good examples because I'm not that bad of a writer. But when you bring people in who don't know about the business, who frankly don't care about the business, and who's afraid of pitching ideas because, quote unquote, they are afraid of losing their jobs and they just want to agree with what the boss says, you get bad content. You get content that doesn't make sense. I'm still split on this as well, but I feel like wrestling is trying to reach a certain audience who doesn't watch wrestling anymore by creating, well, what's popular in reality TV? What's popular in pop culture? Let's bring this person in. Let's do this. Let's do this type of segment. Let's write this type of comedy, thinking that that will increase ratings, but it's going to decrease ratings. Haven't you noticed over the years, for the last 5 to 10 years, that implementing these elements have decreased ratings and your hardcore wrestling fans have stopped watching wrestling? I went to WrestleMania this year, but quite frankly, I haven't watched one episode of Raw or SmackDown all year. I might watch a clip of what happened on YouTube or on my social media if I scroll by it. I faithfully check the dirt sheets to see what's going on with the business because I care about the business and I want to change the business and learn the business. But actually watching a 3-hour program with no audience, with generic segments. Hey, I want my title shot. Oh, yeah, well, if you want your title shot, you can have it in a regular match. With the regular finish and the same finish over and over. I'm going to beat you with my finishing maneuver instead of an innovating maneuver. Now let's talk about that. Well, now I want to switch subjects. Start putting people who know what they're doing into the business. Why isn't Paul Heyman the lead writer of Raw or SmackDown? Why did you fire Eric Bischoff? Why isn't Cody Rhodes the only creative head at AEW since he creates the highest rated segments at AEW? I only watched AEW to see what Cody Rhodes was going to do that week and what Chris Jericho was going to do that week. Everything else was obsolete and filler content and long 25-minute matches that no one cares about. Oh, we're going to be more wrestling oriented. Your matches are long and boring. After I've seen the first flipping pile driver and I see somebody pop up from it 3 seconds later, everything else is ineffective. The Canadian Destroyer was the most powerful move in professional wrestling. The first time I couldn't see it, I went, wow, and I couldn't believe it. Now I'm tired of it because people get up from it like it's a Ric Flair slap to the chest. We need to get back to good ring psychology. We need writers who understand the business. Rest in peace to Dusty Rhodes. Cody Rhodes has a brilliant mind for the business. Cody Rhodes' writing and creative storylines and dialogue reminds me of a good old episode of WCW Nitro. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Contrary to popular belief, WCW produced some great content and some memorable wrestling storylines. Cody Rhodes reminds me of that, and he brings that flavor to it. And I wish he was over all the creative of AEW because we would have a way better program. I actually want Cody Rhodes to retire. Nah, no, I don't, because he's a hell of a wrestler. I like watching his matches, too. He knows how to put everything together. He's a student of the game. What's going on with the rest of the company, I don't know. The factions, that needs to go. At this point, I don't want to ramble too much, but we need better creative heads at these wrestling production companies.